Ever feel like you want to get right to the heart of something, like you need that shortcut to knowledge? That's what we aim for here. Today, we're diving deep into Bernhard Roetzel's Gentleman, the ultimate companion to the elegant man.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just another trendy style guide. This book, which was first published in 1999, has become like a Bible for men who are serious about dressing well. It really digs into what makes a man elegant, and it's not just about the clothes.
Yeah, it's way more than that. And for those of you familiar with other classic men's style books like Dressing the Man by Alan Flusser or ABC of Men's Fashion by Hardy Amies, Roetzel brings this distinctly European perspective, like a mix of German precision, a love for British tailoring, and this deep respect for Italian craftsmanship all rolled into one.
And what's really impressive is how much ground Roetzel covers. He looks at everything, from the basic elements of a suit to the tiny details of shirt collars and how good shoes are made, even how accessories play their part. It's not just a list of clothes, though, is it?
No, not at all. He goes way deeper than that. He explains the thinking behind those choices, how they all add up to this bigger picture of how a man carries himself, his taste, his dignity. That's what we're aiming to unpack in this deep dive, those core principles that'll help you understand how to dress with purpose, with that elegance Roetzel talks about.
Let's start with what Roetzel considers the foundation of men's style, the tailored suit. He doesn't see it as some passing fad, but something timeless, a key piece that goes beyond what's in fashion right now.
Okay, so let's break that down a little. The suit. He really gets into all the different traditions, right? English, Italian, American. It's a lot more than just saying it's a suit, isn't it? What are some of the big differences he points out?
Well, one thing Roetzel really emphasizes is the English suit's focus on structure and how long it lasts. The more defined shoulders and heavier fabrics, they kind of reflect this idea that clothes are an investment, something that should last. Then you have the Italian approach, especially the Neapolitan style, which is all about a softer, more natural shoulder and easier movement. And of course, there's the American tradition, like that classic Brooks Brothers sack suit, which is known for its more relaxed and less structured look. So it's not just about the suit itself, but about the different philosophies and history behind each tradition.
Right, so it's about understanding those subtle messages that these different styles send.
Oh.
And it's pretty clear that Roetzel believes the suit still has a big place in a man's wardrobe.
Absolutely. He sees the suit in all its different forms as a core part of men's style. While the details might change a little over time, that basic idea of the suit as a sign of thoughtful, deliberate dressing that sticks around makes you think, doesn't it? In today's world where everything's so casual, what does it say when a man chooses to wear a suit?
That's a great point. Now, moving on from the suit, which Roetzel sees as that foundation, he lays out this whole system for building a wardrobe, piece by piece. Let's talk about shirts. It's not just grabbing any old shirt, right? What are some of the key things he points out there?
Well, when Roetzel talks about shirts, he's really focused on how the right weaves and collar can change how your face looks and how they contribute to the overall formality of your outfit. He really breaks it down, talking about the different weaves, the crispness of poplin, the softer texture of twill, the more relaxed feel of Oxford cloth. Then he goes into collar styles, the wider spread collar for a more formal look, the classic point collar, the softer curve of a club collar, and of course the button down. He's really big on fit, too, saying a well-fitting shirt creates these clean lines and doesn't bunch up, which are super important for that polished look he's all about. So it's all about understanding how these elements work together to create a certain impression.
So each of these details, it's like they're part of this visual language. And what about trousers? What are the key things he focuses on there?
Roetzel really gets into a lot of details with trousers. First off, he talks about pleats, how they give you room to move and affect the drape of the fabric. Then he talks about the rise, or how high the trousers sit, and how that changes the overall proportions of the whole outfit. And this is super important. He goes into proper length and the break, that little crease above the shoe, and how those details can make your silhouette look balanced. He even gets into those subtle differences between Continental and English tailoring when it comes to trousers. So it's not just about putting on pants, it's about understanding how they play a role in the whole structure of the outfit.
It's all about how everything works together, right? Each piece has its part. And then there's shoes. This seems to be something Roetzel's really passionate about.
You bet. For Roetzel, good quality shoes are a must-have. He's really big on Goodyear welted construction. That's the way the sole is attached, and it's a sign of quality and craftsmanship. It means the sole can be replaced so the shoes last much longer. He goes through all the classic styles, the formal cap-toe Oxford, the brogues with their detailing, the elegant monk straps, and of course, the versatile loafers. And to really drive home this point about quality shoemaking, he mentions those famous shoemakers from Northampton, England churches, Crockett and Jones, and then those top Italian brands like Santoni and Testoni. He really wants to show how important it is to invest in good, lasting quality.
So it's not about having tons of shoes, it's about having a few pairs of really good ones.
Yeah.
That seems to be Roetzel's thinking. And it's not just the big pieces, he also spends time talking about accessories, those little details that people often forget.
What's really interesting about how Roetzel talks about accessories is that he sees them as finishing touches, things that should add harmony and a touch of restraint to the whole look. He doesn't want them to be flashy or over the top. He talks about how silk pocket squares, grenadine ties, cufflinks, even hats should all work together with the outfit, adding a bit of sophistication. It's about that quiet elegance where every little thing works together without being too loud.
And what really sets gentlemen apart is that it goes beyond just clothes. It covers grooming, etiquette, even lifestyle. Why do you think Roetzel included those things?
Well, Roetzel has this whole philosophy about elegance. He understands that it's more than just what you put on your body. He has sections on personal hygiene, taking care of your skin, how to wear fragrance, even things like writing thank you notes and choosing the right umbrella. He's basically saying that this book is a guide to becoming a well-rounded and refined man, not just someone who dresses well. All these little things show self-respect and consideration for others, which are really central to his whole idea of being a gentleman.
So it all goes back to this concept of timeless elegance, right? It's not about a look, it's about a whole approach to life.
That's it, exactly. Roetzel's idea of elegance isn't about chasing the latest fad or just copying old styles. He makes this interesting point that even though formal dress codes have mostly disappeared, that hasn't really made people dress better. It's often led to more confusion and a lack of direction.
So he sees dressing in a classic style as a conscious choice, a sign of self-respect, and even cultural understanding.
Definitely. He argues that by learning and appreciating these principles of dress, men can develop self-discipline and connect with a tradition of refined presentation. But it's not about everyone looking the same.
No, he's not saying everyone has to wear the exact same thing. He values individuality. So how does he balance that with his emphasis on classic style?
What's really smart is that he respects personal expression and individual taste. But he's also clear that those things should come from a solid understanding of the basic rules. He sees real style as knowing the rules and then bending them in a smart way, not just ignoring them. He wants men to be thoughtful and intentional about how they dress.
And the book itself is visually beautiful, isn't it? The photography really captures that European feeling he talks about.
Absolutely. The book is full of these gorgeous photos, very European, that really show how aspirational classic menswear can be. You see those elegant shops in Paris, those traditional tailoring workshops in London, skilled craftsmen in Italy. Roetzel uses these images to give you a feeling of that lasting value and artistry behind well-made clothes and a well-put-together look.
And you see these pictures of men of all ages, too, which really drives home the point that the style principles he's talking about are timeless.
Yeah, exactly. It shows that these ideas aren't just for one age group or a specific time period. And while some other books might focus on very specific historical periods or be all about casual style, Gentleman has this consistent focus on refined, timeless elegance.
It's clear why this book was such a hit and why it's still so relevant today. It really seems to have given men what they were looking for, a reliable guide to style.
It did. It wasn't just for fashion insiders. It appealed to men from all walks of life, all ages, who were looking for a clear framework for dressing well. It became this go-to resource for young professionals and anyone wanting to look more polished. And critics loved how it combined practical advice with this wider understanding of culture and context. It helped readers develop a good eye for quality and style, going beyond just simple rules.
And while Roetzel has written other books on men's style, Gentleman really seems to be his most influential work.
No doubt about it. It laid the groundwork for his later books about bespoke tailoring and creating different looks, but Gentleman is still the definitive guide, just like its title says.
So thinking about today, where casual wear is so common, why is a book like Gentleman still important?
That's a really important question. In a world where everyone's dressing down, Gentleman is like a reminder that dressing well is really about taking care of yourself, showing consideration for others, and having respect for the situation you're in. It's not about being exclusive or stuffy. It's about making thoughtful choices about how you present yourself.
So it's not about following traditions blindly, but about understanding those traditions so we can give them meaning in our lives today.
Exactly. It's about knowing the principles so you can make informed choices, whether you follow them strictly or adapt them to your own style. The key is to be intentional, and that never goes out of style.
So to sum it up, the big takeaway from Roetzel's Gentleman is that it gives you this comprehensive understanding of classic menswear. It shows you how to think about dressing well, not just as following rules, but as a way to show self-respect and connect with culture, and it encourages you to make thoughtful choices instead of just chasing trends.
Absolutely. It helps you understand why certain clothes and styles have stood the test of time and how you can use them to express your own individuality in a smart and informed way.
So here's something to think about. In today's world where fashion is so diverse and casual, how could understanding those classic principles that Roetzel talks about give you a unique and confident approach to your personal style? Or maybe even going beyond clothes, what parts of Roetzel's emphasis on conduct and consideration really resonate with you, and how could you apply those in your own life?
It really is about more than just the clothes, isn't it? It's about cultivating a certain way of thinking, a certain mindset. Think about how these ideas of intentionality and consideration could shape not just your style, but also your pursuit of knowledge and how you express yourself in the world.